School Board have worked with first responders from Shellsburg, from Vinton, so we're talking the police departments, sheriff department, fire departments, medical first responders. And the last time we did this, I believe, was about 5 years ago, where we really looked at our plans, made changes that made sense to all of us. It is our plan to do that again this year. So we're going to review the plans we have in place, see what needs to be changed on those, but that is something we're working with the community on. Last thing is our training, and all of our staff, we just got done doing this with all of our staff, gets trained by the Vinton Police Department. And some of the administrators, including myself, have also been trained. How many of you have heard of it, the ALICE program? A few of you. The ALICE program was popular probably 3-4 years ago, still is. There are still quite a few schools that get trained. Schools and different businesses might get ALICE trained. But the essential of it is run, hide, and fight. That's what they're training people on now. And I actually went through this training, and what they had us do, and just to give an example, the first time they said, all right, there's a gunman in the school, this is our training. They had one of us with an airsoft gun. If you've ever been hit with an airsoft pellet, it's the wrong name. It shouldn't have been called airsoft. Nothing soft about it. It feels like a BB 80 miles an hour hitting you. But they told us, all right, most school plans, if there were an active shooter, what they do is take cover, right? Like the old tornado drills, hunker down under a desk or in a corner and just hope that the person doesn't come through. And so they had us do this, and actually Matt Kingsbury was the person that had the airsoft gun, and I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. So we all hunker down in a corner, waiting for it. We know we're going to get shot, and Matt comes in the room, he has his airsoft gun, looks around, and then keeps running, like runs out the other door. And we're all like, what is he doing? And he comes back in, like, oh, we're going to get shot now, looks around, runs out the other door. He couldn't see us. His night vision is so bad he couldn't see us. But when he finally did shoot at us, we figured probably out of about 30 of us that were there, 27 of us would have gotten shot. And so that was the old safety measure that you still hear about a little bit. If there was an armed intruder in a school, they hunker down, hide, and hope the person goes past their classroom. Sandy Hook Elementary, a lot of the casualties there were because the elementary kids and the teacher were huddled together, and when the gunman came in and shot, they were able to get a lot of them with a few shots. The students there's one classroom in particular at Sandy Hook that there were a lot of casualties. The students that didn't get injured were the ones that ran, that were able to get out ahead of time. So the run, hide, fight method is basically this. It's saying we're going to train you on these different things that you can do, and when you're in a situation, follow your gut. Whatever your instincts are telling you, follow it. And this would go for a tornado, for a fire drill. The run part is obvious. If you can get out, go. So if at the high school, if there's something happening in the gym and you're clear at the opposite end of the building and you can get out, go. That's the run part. The evacuation. Same thing with the fire. If there's a fire and you can get out of the building, run. That's your best option. The hide would be, and it's actually more of a barricade, but if you can't leave, if there's an immediate threat that's blocking your escape route, how can you hide or barricade yourself in the space that you're in? So take this room, for example. Someone's at Tom's guys coming after him. We know it. We hear it out front. What could we do here? We could shove all the tables. We could make a pretty big pile of tables here, over there if we needed to. But we could have such a pile of tables here that how long would it take someone to get through it? Probably a lot longer than it would take the police or sheriff to get here. So that's the hide part. What can you do? Other things that we teach. There's a cord over there on the flagpole. Could you cut that cord, tie the door together? Maybe not so much on this door, but there's doors at school that you could tie together pretty easily. And even if you know, a gunman, we're putting a lot of pressure on that. They're not going to be able to break through it. TV cords. You know, we'd have weapons here, which is the fight part. You know, so if you barricade yourself in, the next part is, what can you arm yourself with, or anyone? So look around this room. There's quite a bit that you could arm yourself with, right? Someone could have the saw. Salt and pepper shakers make good projectiles. Chairs, napkin dispensers. At school we have staplers, chairs, books. I was a chemistry teacher, so I had all kinds of fun toys that I could use. And nothing like a big bucket of acid to deter someone away, right? But that's the fight part. Is if it's the absolute last choice, you know, the last thing you can do, what can you attack the person with? And in our training, I was surprised how well it worked. The training I was in, the gunman that they had come in for the last part, and we weren't expecting it when they sent him in, was a trained, I think he was with the Highway Patrol, and he was their tactical officer that did their gun training, the shooting range type thing, and they had him come in. So we're talking a sharpshooter with the airsoft. He could hit probably just about anything from any distance, and the first time that he came in that we didn't know it, we weren't fighting at that point. We hadn't learned it all. He took quite a few of us out. The second time, after we'd been trained, even just throwing, I can't remember what hit him first, I think a book, but he said his initial reaction was his arm went up and there were airsofts in the ceiling. And by that time, we had a few people that were able to jump on him. Actually, someone knocked a shelf over on him. He actually got hurt and was out of work for a while. It was a pretty intense training. But he said, you know, he's trained to do that. He's trained not to be scared in that situation. He's trained to know how to take people coming at him. But he was so overwhelmed that in that scenario, one person would have been shot and was in the arm. So that is the type of thing that we're teaching our staff. I know probably the next question is, what are we teaching our kids? And it depends on their age. At the elementary level, we teach them some aspects of this. The staff are trained, but we're not talking to them about if an armed intruder comes in, you're going to fight him. We're just not going to put our younger kids through that. Now at the high school, they might have those conversations. At the middle school, they might have those conversations. At the elementary, not so much. But all of our kids are trained in some way to know how to evacuate, to know, you know, if you're following your teacher's directions. You know, we run through those drills with them. But more so at the high school is where we're really teaching the run, hide, and fight. So those are the safety things we have in place. The preventative, like I said, the plans that we have, and then the training that we're giving all of our staff. And that includes bus drivers, kitchen staff, janitors, everyone that works for the school. So.